morning. So this is gonna be the last video I'm filming at home for a while, and I decided that the month of September for me is gonna be a get shit done month. I have a lot of work that I just need to wrap up the loose ends on. I have some projects I need to reread. I have some revisions that need work. I have characters that still need to be named. So in honor of my final full day at home, I decided to make this a super mega writing day. And with that comes a lot of choices about what in particular to focus on. And I'm going to leave those choices up mostly to Instagram, with the exception of the first two choices coming from the community tab on YouTube and from my Patreon. And this is gonna range from things like getting people to suggest character names for me, to figuring out which project I should work on when, to something as simple as if I should have a cappuccino or a matcha latte in the afternoon. We're gonna see how this goes. I'm excited. But first up, my patrons got the first question, and that was whether I should do an early morning wake up, like at 5 a.m. and just get to work, or if I should start work at my usual time of 7 a.m.-ish. You know, because super mega writing days are marathons, not sprints. And the people were very nice because they mostly voted for my usual 7 a.m. wake up. And that's why it's light outside instead of, you know, just me being surrounded by darkness. But it is a little after 7 now, and that means it's time to pull up my projects and get to it. So this is going to be the only time today that I choose what to work on. So I gotta choose wisely. The question is, do I go Project Blue 2? Some novellas? Do I want to reread Project Purple? Okay. I think we're gonna go with the romance novellas. I have a lot of decisions I need to make. One, all of the main characters' names. And two, I need to figure out a way to make the stories cohesive. The first novella, as I was writing it, ended up being a little bit more serious than the other two did, which were very heavy rom-com. And I either need to decide that, like, they all need to be this equivalent level of serious, or if I need to bring this one back down. So there's some like restructuring, some replotting, some outlining that needs to be done. My goodness, okay. I have no moments to spare. All right, I now have approximately 179 words worth of questions that I'm sort of answering as I go. But I did go ahead and post the poll. What should I work on first, drafting or revising? But I want to give people a full hour at least to answer, so it's gonna be back to this project for me. Let's do it. All right, I've switched from just trying to figure this out on the computer to also figuring this out in the notebook. In another notebook. My goodness, that is blinding. There we go. Now, for those of y'all who have watched enough of these vlogs, besides knowing of my caffeine addiction, what usually happens is that I write for a little bit first, like this, and then I get my cappuccino. However, this time I put it up to the YouTube community tab and asked them if I was allowed to have my morning caffeine or if I would have to suffer. And I just have to say that much like the Patreon results, I feel like the community in general is way nicer than I would ever be, because look at this voting. 78% of people said that I could have my morning cappuccino and only 22% said suffer. I was someone who would have said suffer. Thankfully for me, only 22% of you think like I do. So that means that it's time. All right, there's only one hang up at this point. I only know the names of one main character. Because I so often just put MMC or FMC or MC or whatever in order to stand in for my main characters, or I'll do all caps lock and be like, girl, singer, editor for like a magazine editor character. I just do it so I can move on, and I don't care because I have a visualization of the characters, and so but they need names at some point. Obviously, I can't tell the story without their names. Not every story can be Project Death. So I asked the people for help, because I need all the help. Alright, it's now been almost an hour since I posted that question, asking people if I should work on drafting or revising. So let's see what the results say. It looks like drafting is the winner! Now that the people have spoken, it is time to open up Project Blue 2. Ooh, maybe I'll try the transition. Okay, ready? I don't know that worked. So I currently have 28,503 words in this project. As always, I'm a bit of an underwriter, but I do have several scenes I have multiple scenes that I know I still need to write for the first time. So I'm thinking I can manage to get this up to about 50,000 words on the zero draft. And then that way it'll hit at about 70,000 words for the final draft when I finish. Okay. Time to get to work. So something that I do need to do that I haven't done in a while is pull up my timeline. This kind of helps me keep track of everything since I do a more drag and drop method. Oh, that's not the right Scrivener file. There we go. Since I do more of a drag and drop method in my Scrivener file, this is actually what I'm using to keep track of what order the story's in. So since I'm writing out of order, all I do is I go and return to, like, if scene number 7 is one I haven't written yet, I can quickly look at like where my main character's headspace needs to be at this point, and then I can move on. I imagine like filming and actors might have the same kind of problem because they often shoot scenes out of order. So this is kind of the thing. I have to get back in the headspace of the character, and I find it's easiest to have like a visual representation of that. Some people would say just write in order the first time, but you know, sometimes I just can't do it. All right, time to sprint. Yeah. Okay, that's 1,135 words down. Ah. And during that time, I actually started 2 scenes, so I have some room where I can actually fill those scenes in more and continue them on a bit. So that's 1,135 words with the promise of not too much of like a thinking period for when I start writing again, and that's nice. I also now have names. I'm so excited. So many people came through with the name suggestions, and it helped me so much because obviously I can't name anything. I needed all the help I could get. I'm still going. But I did manage to actually pick some of them, and I'm so excited. The only name that I knew of the 6 main characters was Lexi. But now I got Lexi and Theo, Cam, Marun, and Xander, Eva, and Finn, and I am so excited. I still have to come up with last names for everyone but Lexi, but it's mostly done off of first names, so I can just go and control, find, and replace all of those other instances. So I'm so excited. It's something that, you know, now that I'm in the like first draft stage where I've completed the 0 drafts for all of the novellas, it's like I actually have to go back and fix stuff to make it more readable now too. At this point, I'm not only fixing outline and making the tone consistent across all of the stories, but I also need to do, you know, normal stuff other people would have done already, like pick names. So I'm glad to have that off the list. But all right. I have now finished the last of my coffee. Yes, it was cold at this point. I am going to go ahead and get myself some food. While I am doing that, I'm going to listen to the Creative Pin podcast. I also need to get the little pepperoni food. Can you still see him all the way back there? He's just gonna lay there until I'm done. Yeah. All right. And while I'm cooking, I will let people answer the next poll, and then I will get to work. Yay! That was so neat. So I got my own notebook when I got home and started writing, and I think it was the optimal age to write. All right, my food is done. It's time to go hang with the pup for a little bit. Hey Duke, you ready to go inside? Come on. Yes sir. Good job, Bubs. I posted the question on which project I should work on about 35 minutes ago, and it's still a really close kind of battle. My projects are duking it out. Oh, Duke. Okay, wow. I'm sorry. So while I wait for the hour mark, I'm gonna go ahead and get some other stuff done, just cleaning up and starting to pack for my trip. You are coming with me?
heads, you know, a lot, as you say.
Can't even finish anything because you mentioned yoga. I found some stretches that helped. I did things like when I
Okay, so I got the first little bit of packing sort of figured out, and it has been about an hour since I posted that question. So we are going to go back to the desk, to the pepperoni, and we are going to see which project won. Actually, before we start, I think it is good for me to ask the universe what it wants to tell me about today, about this super mega writing challenge. I think I want this one. I got stars. The words for stars are wishes, hopes, possibilities, guidance, independence, dreams, expansion, and fame. Interessante! I mean, I just want to say I'm calling this a super mega writing day, and part of this says, no dream, wish, or desire is too big and grand for the universe. And it is time to see what the winner is. Let's go back. And what did the people vote on? All right, 127 said it's time to revise those frickin' novellas. All right, so I have done my little bit of fixing. I have the names, I got the motivations, I have the quote unquote fatal flaws, I have what keeps the couple apart, and how are all the novellas connected. Hello. My most interesting discovery, having kind of reworked this in my mind a little bit and concretely set these things out, is realizing that the placement I have for novella number 3 should actually be in novella number 2. My hand's doing all kinds of funky stuff. There was no reason at the time I wrote the novellas in this order, but I think novella number 1 is still a good one to be the first one, and then I'm just gonna switch novella number 3 and novella number 2. Partly because their semi-interconnected nature now makes more sense to have it flow that way, and also partially because I think doing it in that stage will highlight the differences. Because of course they're all told within 24 hours. The first couple has not met each other at all. The third couple that's now going to be the second couple, it's like a hate to love sort of thing. And then the third couple is like friends with a spark. So I just think the progression is a little bit nicer. It works better with the setting too. So anyways, overall, this was great. I'm excited about that. The next step in the revision process for these stories though is a complete re-outlining of them. Novella number 1 ended at 17,627. Novella number 2, that's now going to be the third one, ended at about 13,000. And then novella number 3, that's now going to be number 2, ended at 15,759. It's gonna be extra interesting when I'm actually reading these over again in order to come up with the new outline, what I think of them, because novella number 2 was written during my 24 and 36 hour writing challenge, and then part of novella number 3 I finished during the Brandon Sanderson I Tried Writing Like video. Both of those were me writing either longer or at a time I don't usually write at, so I'll be curious to see if I can pinpoint which scenes that something happened with. Ooh, it's gonna be fun. All right, time to take a brief intermission from the writing to make sure that this video is okay.
Get out of here with this bad advice.
Wow, look at that. Well, I may have overfilled them a little, but yay, coffee wins! I've already drank some of it. It is time to get back to the words. I passed the 30,000 mark in my story, yeah. All right, I am almost ready to go. Today is actually the 4th. I was filming all that stuff on the 3rd, and I didn't actually get as much super mega writing done as I thought I was going to, because last night I fell asleep. I took a nap. I was just like, oh, I was not in it. I think I finally was recovering from the Brandon Sanderson experiment like weeks later. But we do have about 1 hour before we leave. Right now it's 10:57, so I figured I would go ahead and open up this sucker and see if I can't possibly get some more words in, kind of tacking it on to this super mega writing day. I don't have any more questions for anybody to help me control this vlog, but I figure everyone would vote for getting more words in, so let's do it. All right, it only took 269 words to finish up that scene, but I think it is time for me to save this And then if I include these like 200 words, I think I only got about a little over 2,000 words for the entire day. But I figured out so much of those novellas, and I'm ecstatic about that, because that was progress that it's like it had to happen. I couldn't move forward without it happening, kind of thing. So now I feel like the revision process is going to go by a lot faster. The point I'm at now with those is just rewriting them. They just need to be rewritten. Now that I know what I want the tone to be, and now that I know the interwoven nature for the characters, I just have to put that in there. I need to add in some words for each of them, but overall, now I have a really good starting point, and I'm feeling so much better about potentially getting those done before September, because that's really the crazy goal. I wanted this super mega writing day that turned into 2 days to kind of kick off a super mega writing month, because before the month is up, I want to finish all of the novellas. I want to finish the 0 draft of Project Blue 2, and I want to have Project Purple out to beta readers by then, and actually hopefully not too long after September's over to actually get the feedback like mid-October. So, you know, I'm looking at the calendar. It's gonna be interesting with all the trips, but I feel like if yesterday was any example, I think I could do it. Okay, please comment down below. Let me know if you have any crazy goals for the month. Let me know where you're at in your projects. Let me know if you would ever turn over your like writing decision making to other people. The most interesting thing about all of that to me was that y'all basically knew me so well and kind of ended up choosing what you thought would be best for me based off of what I like to do, which was very sweet of you guys. And also, I didn't have as much like warm-up time in between switching projects as I needed to. I guess part of that could be because when I posted the questions, I was somewhat ready to work on a new project. Like I had an hour buffer and like that's what I knew, so I went ahead and posted and I did that kind of thing. But also, yeah, maybe I'm just so excited about this super mega writing month that I didn't need any warm-up time. So yay! But thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you especially to some of my new patrons this month: Sweet Solitude, Monica Rios, David S., Samantha Anderson, and Phoebe Slade, and I will see y'all all very soon with a new video. Bye! And then, hello truck. Ooh, okay. Uh-oh, is that gonna fall? I don't know. What is happening? Yep, that's gonna fall, okay.